The Olympic trials are officially over, and the ladies of the track did not disappoint. It all got started with Sha'Carri Richardson lighting it up out there in the 100-meter dash, making it very clear why she is still the favorite to win the event in Paris this summer. She even brought her entire training group with her to qualify for the event just because she could. Yet the 200-meter dash was way more competitive, which is why Sha'Carri didn't make the team in that event, but Mackenzie Long did. She was the fastest woman in college for this entire season, and the fastest in the world in that event for a while. But that world lead now belongs to Gabby Thomas, as it should, because she's America's best 200-meter sprinter this side of Allison Felix. She's actually even faster on the clock, so you could argue she's even better. But hey, nobody asked me. But I do feel the need to point out that none of the women I just described are the best track and field athlete that Team USA actually has, because it's really not a contest anymore. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is that woman. She won the Olympic trials in the 400-meter hurdles, which is really not a story anymore. I didn't even really feel like watching her during the rounds, because there was no point. She was going to be way out in front of everybody else. But in the final, she did the same thing again, breaking the world record in the 400 hurdles. And unless you've been living under a rock for some time now, you should know that the record she broke was already her own. We are now living in a track and field world, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone's world, where she doesn't actually run races anymore. Don't get me wrong, she runs, and we can even call it competing if you really want to. But there isn't anybody out there in the other lanes who's actually racing against her. If they were, they would be running somewhere in the vicinity of her by the time she gets to the home stretch. So at this coming Olympics, you should already know what's about to happen, because Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is going to be there, running times that literally no one else in history has ever run. And I know that the track and field world has been waiting for a while now for the next Usain Bolt to show up. Newsflash, she is already here. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is that person. Of course she doesn't run the 100, and she doesn't run the 200 unless she feels like it. But that's besides the point, because just about any race that she chooses to run, she will be the best on that track. And just like Bolt, she's always been better than everybody else at her level. And that level now is the Olympic Games. So if you really want to see the best track and field athlete compete in Paris this summer, you had better be watching the women's 400 hurdles, because unfortunately, that is the only race that Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone will be running. And if everything goes according to plan, we might as well just give her the crown right now as the greatest of all time. But if you're new here, I have to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, the founder of SVARecruiting.com, where I rank the best high school track and field recruits in the entire nation. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comments section, because I try to read them all. Before I go any further, I know that I have to address the entire Usain Bolt comparison thing. But Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is the closest thing we've seen to Bolt in this era. And remember, it's really not that close if you know what to look for. Bolt first showed up to the Olympics before he was 18 years old, in Athens in 2004. Back then, nobody really noticed, but they did pay attention when he came back 4 years later and dominated, running times that we'd never seen before. For the most part, Sydney did the exact same thing. She first showed up to the Olympics while she was in high school after her junior year season, and she made the semifinals of the 400 hurdles. But the comparisons don't stop there, because Sydney is not just a 400 hurdler. That's just the only event that she's broken the world record in multiple times. She was the Gatorade Track and Field Athlete of the Year twice while she was in high school. And that's just not for the hurdles, like I said. She was also one of the fastest in the entire nation in the 200 and the 400. And during her one season in college, she was one of the fastest in the country in both of those events indoors, before breaking the collegiate record in the 400 hurdles. Of course, she's the reigning Olympic champion in that event now, and I honestly don't even know if she's ever lost a 400 hurdle race at the professional level. I'm rattling this all off from memory, so yeah, it might have happened. I just feel like I probably would have known by now if it did. Yet the real test of Sydney's greatness is the fact that she's already gotten pretty bored of the 400 hurdles. There's really only one woman in the world right now, Femke Bol out of the Netherlands, who might have a chance to beat her. But she'd have to run a world record in all likelihood. We have no evidence she's going to do that. And even though she's not even 25 years old yet, that event is so far away from competitive for her that she has to make herself run other races just to keep it interesting. For that reason, Sydney ran the 400 in 2023, and then became the American champion in that event. She was actually the world leader heading into the World Championships. She just didn't run due to injury. And this season, she opened up running the 200-meter dash of all races. And in case you weren't paying attention, she won the LA Grand Prix. At that moment, it was the second fastest time recorded in the world this year. And she beat Gabby Thomas to get that victory, who is now the Olympic trials champion. And like I said, the fastest 200-meter sprinter that America has this side of Allison Felix. So to be real with you, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone could be America's best 200-meter runner and America's best 400-meter runner if she wanted to. And as far as I'm concerned, she might get around to doing it after this Olympics is over. But apparently, she has unfinished business with the 400 hurdles, because it definitely ain't with the other runners, because they don't know how to keep up with her. I know that Noah Lyles wants to be the greatest sprinter ever, and we also know that Usain Bolt still holds that title. But if we just open up the conversation for a moment, we should realize that Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is what we've all been waiting for. We've just all been focusing on the wrong events, which is why we didn't even notice, even after she breaks her own world record. Again. SCA track and field gear is here. Fast is a lifestyle, and what you wear should reflect that. Order yours at scarecruiting.com/shop, or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.